Functional glute training video number 1. You're going to start lying on your side on a mat. You're going to have your bottom leg tucked underneath you, which you'll start seeing in the videos right now. And you're going to do all the exercises on one side before you start and go to the next side. So we're going to lay on our side. Bottom leg is underneath. Your head is cradled into your hand. And you're going to tuck your knee and your leg up in towards your belly button. You're going to pull your belly button in as you come up. You're going to try and keep your hips and shoulders stacked on top of one another. That's very, very important. You're going to keep your ribs in the whole time. You're going to breathe out as you lift that toe as high as you can and keep the foot barely hovering over top of the floor. You're going to do about 2 sets of 10 repetitions. Then you're going to go into circles. You're going to point the toe or keep the ankle neutral, and you're going to do circles backwards. And you're just going to keep that ankle a little bit higher than your hip. Your shoulders and your hips stay stacked, and your ribs and your abs stay in. If you need any support, you can put your hand on the floor, but we're going to really try and get that glute to kick in. Then you're going to bring Then we're going to bring the leg straight out in front of us, and we're going to just do a straight leg abduction. So we're lifting that leg up, targeting the glute again, just a little bit of a different place than you felt in the last exercise. So you're going to do 10 to 15 repetitions, and then you're going to bring to the last exercise, which is a clam. You're going to point the bottom toe and flex the top one so both ankle bones are together. Again, really make sure those shoulder blades aren't compressing on top of one another and the hips are staying stacked. Nice and slowly. Okay, I'm going probably a little bit faster than you might want to go, but you want to slow down to make sure you're really isolating that glute and only come up so your hips are staying nice and neutral and your abdominals are staying in. So you're going to do 15 or 20 to 30 repetitions there. Then you're going to come over the same side we were just working. You're going to do single leg hip thrusters. Keep the ribs down and thrust the hips. So remember, it's a little bit of a pelvic lift. Okay, if you can't lay down all the way, you're going to just cradle your hands in your head. You could use a block or a bolster underneath you as well. But I'm going to get a little extra abdominal work by holding my head up, using my arms and my lats. 12 to 15 repetitions. Of course, you can do more repetitions if you feel advanced enough to do so. After you've done all of these exercises on one side, you're going to stop and do the whole first series again on the left side, and then do it again on the right, and then again on the left. Moving on to the oblique series, we're doing both exercises in this series one side at a time. Cross-legged twist. So you're going to cross the legs over nice and tight to one another. Okay, again, if you can't have your head on the floor, you're lifting it up and keeping it up. Again, you can use a bolster or a block. You're letting your foot stay in line, your bottom foot there, stay in line with your tailbone, and you're twisting and looking gently towards the other side as your knee is pulling that top leg over top. Okay, getting the stretch in the obliques. Okay, so I'm going to use the block just to show you that it just relaxes your neck a little bit more and disengages the abdominals. But hey, it is an abdominal workout, so we do want to use the abs if we can. We're going to have that foot down again. We're doing the same side. I notice I'm doing everything on my right side first. And we're just going to do a little thruster. We're going to pulse though. We're going to pulse these for 20 to 30 repetitions. I want you to feel the burn in that glute. I want you to keep the abs in. Shoulder blades are back and down. Foot is nice and close to your butt, so that you're really feeling the glute muscles and not letting the hamstrings engage. That is not what we want. Then we are going to be moving on to a little bit of a hip reset after you do your 20 to 30 reps. So you're going to go first, you're going to do the whole other side, then you're going to do a gentle hip reset. You're going to keep the heels and the feet together, open it up, 20 to 30 second each exercise. Keep the feet flat, a block in between. Keep your head up if you need to, so have a second block or a bolster, and you're just going to sway gently side to side, squeezing those knees together. Moving on, you're going to do one side at a time, 2 to 3 times through. We're going to get onto our knee, making sure you can double up your mat if you need to for extra support. You're going to do a leg lift. So we're in a plank. You're really focusing on your bottom obliques to kick in. You're pressing up through your hand and your fingers, and see how I have my hand on my glute. That's where I want to be engaging for my 12 to 15 repetitions. Okay, you can go into a little plank just to reset yourself. You can hold your plank for 30 seconds just for fun. Really engaging your shoulders. Pull your shoulders apart from one another. I wanted it to show the back view just so you can see right underneath my armpit that my abdominals and my obliques are engaged. Okay, lift that leg up so you're working that glute right where my hand is. You're going to feel that muscle engaging, and it should be burning by now from all the other exercises you're doing. We're moving on to a little bit of a tricep stretch. So we're going to kneel. If you can't kneel, you can absolutely sit cross-legged, whatever works for you, but we really want to get the stretch in the oblique. So we're going to push your elbow back into your fingers and just lean to one side to stretch out through that rear delt or those obliques. I just showed there it going in front of your face if you can't lift that arm over beside your earlobe. Okay, so there's options. Abs are in, you're making sure you're engaging the pelvic floor, so you're not just letting your abdominals go, and you're keeping your ribs and your hips at neutral. Okay, now you're going to do straight arm shoulder rolls. We're just rolling back and forth. Okay, you may have a little bit of an arch through the upper back, but we're keeping that lower half unmoving. We're keeping those pelvic floor muscles engaged. So anywhere from 15 to 20 of those. Just a little bit of a break, and then we're going to go into our spinal stretch. So we're going to grab that hand and press. Going into that spinal stretch, we're just going to grab and pull ourselves around, keeping our head nice and tall. Calf-cow series and pelvic floor. We're going to come and just readjust the mat a little bit. We're going to be on all fours. Keep your knees right underneath your hips, your hands right underneath your shoulders. Really keep nice straight arm shoulder blades back and down. You're going to exhale as you look in, inhale as you come up. You can do this as slow or as fast as you want to. And we're going to do anywhere from 8 to 10 repetitions. Really breathing, pulling that belly button in, keeping those knees so they're unmoving. You're going to curl your toes in and you're going to sit back, okay, onto your heels. We're going to stretch out our toes. It's going to feel good. We're going to keep that pelvic floor engaged, and we're going to just tuck the tailbone under every single time. Okay, all we're doing is engaging that pelvic floor, engaging the glutes just to get them to work individually from our upper body. Now we're going to bring our bum off of our heels just a little bit. Okay, we're going to be working our quads here. They might burn a bit. We're not doing many repetitions. 4 to 5 each way. 4 to 5 each circles. If you want to add some intensity, you lift your hands above your head. Then we're going to come into some kneeling hip thrusters. Okay, we're going to thrust through, keeping those hips nice and neutral, keeping those shoulders nice and neutral. Nice stretch through the toes. Flex the glutes, pull the pelvic floor in. You're going to warm up those quads. Now we're going to come and pull the shoulder blades back. Pull the shoulder blades back. So I'm just doing a little chest pop here, but I like to think of it as more as engagement of the rhomboids in between the shoulder blades. Then we're going to finish off with a little bit of a glute series. We're going to come up, bring the leg up, keep the calf attached to the hamstring, and we're going to do circles. We're going to do 10 circles each direction. Each exercise that I show you here is 10 repetitions. You're going to switch the direction of the circles, keeping the opposite hand that you're from the leg that you're working pressed in a little bit more. So if we're working our right leg, you're pressing that left hand in a little bit more. So 10 circles, 10 donkeys. Notice that my calf is still attached to my hamstring. And we're going to bring that leg out to the side, and we're going to leg lift. Okay, notice that my hips are staying nice and square to the mat, as are my shoulders. My elbows are not bending, just lifting up, keeping my abs in nice and tight. You're going to do 10 of those on each side 2 times, and then you're going to come into a child's pose stretch and stretch out your neck from side to side if you want to. Take a few deep breaths, and that is it. If you have time, do the lower half stretch video, which I'll also be adding to your Facebook page.